Okay, babies. So I don't know why I look so dreamy with this setting on the camera. It's not even a setting. I guess it's just like a filter. But last time I talked about spiritual protection and spiritualists having spiritual protection. I went through like different ways as to how we can experience spiritual protection. But one of the main things that I wanted to cover was spiritual protection for spiritualists looks like having the highest support in whichever avenue you choose to share on your spiritual journey. So as you're doing this work, anything or anyone that brings negativity towards you or intervenes on that work is intervening on God, Source's plan towards collective spiritual evolution. And so anyone or anything that is coming into that process will receive karma at a few different levels, because the highest or most inclusive karma comes from serving each other versus serving yourself alone. And so that can look like a multitude of ways for how you want to contribute to the collective, but spiritual work specifically drives people to remember who they are as a soul before anything else. And so, it's just high priority, because once you recognize that you're a soul, then you are able to navigate the karmic mission and have a freedom or sense of freedom in your conscious creation journey, knowing that you are a part of that process. And I was describing from my last video that even spiritualists can translate things through a lens of ego, either consciously or unconsciously, which is why another part of the journey that we have to understand is we are learning how to discern. So not only discern, but trust in our own judgment. And so that is a part of it, right? Because you can create freely here and come into that awareness, but it's not a measure of blindly or rigorously following any spiritualist here, or any mentor or teacher. It's about you taking your lived experiences, the wisdom that you get from your conscious connection, and then pulling from what resonates or may be channeled from different spiritualists through Source, and just different references that God, Source is showing you is a part of your creation journey, right? And what you want to change here. And so fully placing our safety in our creations or other people will eventually go through changes based on how this earth school is designed. And that's kind of what I wanted to discuss as it relates to my last video on spiritual protection. But again, if you do decide to take the path, the spiritual leader, spiritual speaker path, in addition to the many talents and purposes that you may have, know that you are 100% supported, and that we're not separate from anyone else in humanity who's also going through their journey and their challenges, karmic mission. Not only the karmic mission that we have to navigate and nurture from our ancestors, but also the individual karma that we've racked up before we were aware. So spiritual protection is available for anyone, especially to those who are willing to create that path. Yeah, so I'm going to make it quick, y'all. This is such retrograde shenanigans, but yeah, spiritual protection is available to all of us. And also the highest support, meaning as it relates to karmic balance, is going to flow towards those who are driving Source's mission. And you know, Source's mission is to raise consciousness here so that you know, we are creating less from you know, karmic situations and cycles, and more towards creating what we want to create from a loving place. And what that looks like related to how, you know, it impacts other people and how it impacts ourselves and our sovereignty. But if you have any other questions about spiritual protection, feel free to email me, and then also check out my last video on spiritual protection, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.